Hi. So I wanted to record this video to give you some ideas on how to approach homework. I made it because I felt that at least coming from the previous assignment, by reviewing the previous assignment, I can see that still we need to do a little bit more work on the data prep portion, on the data preparation portion. So this is quite critical because in this homework, in this second homework regarding artificial intelligence, if you don't have the files in the proper format, you won't be able to complete the training at all. As a matter of fact, you will not be able to start the training at all. And this will lead you to spend countless hours and a lot of frustration trying to get these files to work. So just pay attention to this short video. So the goal is to make this video as short as possible, so you can see which steps I'm going to follow in order to do this assignment. Of course, I'm not going to work with exactly the homework files because then there is no reason why we should have the assignment then, but I will use a similar file. So this is how it works. So here is my assignment. I will go to sorry, is here course assignments, then is this natural language processing. Yeah, but the files for the assignment are here: course modules. You go to section 7, which is natural language processing, and there is a file called, or there is a folder called homework files. If you have problems trying to get the files from Blackboard, then just remember to use Google Chrome. Don't use Safari. Or if you still have problem, you may have to work with the factory on trying to understand why you cannot get files from Blackboard. You should be able to, as a matter of fact, and this is nothing, there's nothing related to this course. You should be able to do that with any course. Now I will click homework files on the folder, and you see Amazon Fine Review original. This is not the file that you will use for the homework. Is this the short version? Just remember, use the short version. Do not try to use the original file because this one will take you more time. Now you're gonna use this, and then these test phrases is not for testing, it's not for training, sorry. This is just for testing how your model works. So let me give you an idea of how these files look like. So let me click on the short review first. It takes, of course, a little bit of time, and let me open the file right now. I'm trying to make a quick recording of this. So here is the file. This is your homework file. Yeah, you have 3 columns and 1 sentiment. However, we have to make clear which is the column that I need to use for the sentiment. It is column A, it is column B. I will leave this up to you. You should not use the 2 of them. You should use one, either this or either this. So that's number 1. Number 2, your sentiment. The sentiment starts from 1 and goes from 5. However, the correct way of doing this is that the sentiment has to start from 0 and it goes all the way up, let's say 4, from 0 to 4. So also you have to have headers, you have to have labels for your columns. So in other words, if you try to get this file to work, it will never work. It will give you hours and hours of pain because it's not in the proper format. We need 2 columns, one with the text that you want to evaluate and the other one with the sentiment, but the sentiment has to start from 0. That's number 1. So let me show you what to do and how to fix a similar file. So I will go to Google Data Prep and I will do data preparation with a similar file. It's very similar, as a matter of fact, so you should be able to follow and see what the difference are going to be between this file and your homework. Also, Look what I did as well first before we just start working on this. So let me go to the home page. We'll scroll down to, as a matter of fact, I can click home and go straight to my buckets, or you can go to the navigation menu and scroll down to where it says storage. Either way works fine. So what I did is that I created a new bucket in the US Central region. It has to be in the US Central region. Otherwise, it will give you a problem. Now, click sentiment analysis. I put sentiment analysis and my initials because the bucket name has to be unique. And you can see here that I uploaded the files that I need for the homework. Yep. So that's a good way of doing it versus having to work with the files that you have in your computer, and then you know if the file is a CSV or not, and then it will just be madness. So, however, remember, I don't want to work with this file for this video because this is your homework. So what I did is that I created another one. So this is just for examples, for example purposes. So you will not have a bucket like this. You will not have a file like this because this is just an example I'm making just for this video. So I will click the folder. As you can see, I have the original file, which is Clarity in Twitter example. What I did is that I took, as a matter of fact, let me, I'm not going to delete this. Let me click this right here. So this is the file. Let me get it so I can show you how it looked like before. So this is how it looked like. You see, you have 3 columns like the other one. I'm going to delete one, and then it has the sentiment, and the sentiment even has missing values. So this is what I'm going to fix. Yep. Otherwise, remember, this is not going to work. Also, in your file, you don't have a header. You have to have labels. So let me do that. So I will close this, and then I go to data prep. This is what I have, data prep console. I already did it, right? But this is like a cooking show where I have the dish ready. So let me go to data prep. Right here. All right, it takes, of course, it takes time. And what I want is to import data. I will use the file that I have. In your case, you're going to use this bucket, right? Sentiment analysis underscore, whatever name you put for that bucket for your homework. But I'm going to use this example. Remember, you will not have this because this is just an example that I'm making for this video. So I will click the Clarity in Twitter example because this is the file I want to clean. So as you can see, this is a preview. I will click import and wrangle right off the bat because I know I want to clean and I need to clean this file. So this is what I'm getting. So I'm getting this. What you have to be aware is that in your homework file, you don't have headers. So you have to rename and put a label to it. Text, you can put it whatever name you want. Yeah. Like so. We just change the name. Now I need only 2 columns, so I don't want this. Then I'm going to delete this column. It will be up to you to know in your homework which file you are going to delete. Also, as you can see here, I have a sentiment. I have missing values. You do not have missing values in your homework. But just in case you ever do, let me show you how to deal with missing values. But before that, as you can see, the sentiment starts in 1, ends in 5, exactly like in your homework. But I need this to start in 0, end in 4. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click in the column sentiment, and this is what I want. So I want to go and I want to, let me see, calculate. I want to calculate a custom formula. And the custom formula, what I need is that, so whatever is a 1, I need to convert it to a 0. Whatever is a 5, I need to convert it to a 4. So you can do this. If you know how to use Excel, that's all you need, basically. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click sentiment, the new column. So the new column name will be new sentiment. It could be whatever name. And the formula will be sentiment minus 1. What it means is that the number that I have is a sentiment. I decrease by 1, and now it starts from 0 to 4. You see that? Good. Some of you might want to do a different transformation. The name of this is transformation. You might want to do a different transformation because you might say, well, you know, I just need 3 sentiments. I need negative, positive, and neutral. So you might have to want, or you might want to have something from 0 to 2, or from 0 to 3. It doesn't have to be 0 to 4, but I will just make it in the easiest possible way. So what I'm trying to say is that this formula can be more complex. But if you know how to use Excel, I'm pretty sure that you know how to convert these numbers from 1 to 5 to whatever number you want. I will just make it easier. I will just decrease this by 1, and now I have my number from 0 to 4. Now remember that in your homework you don't have missing values, but here you do. So what I'm going to do is click here. In this case, I want to delete them. I could assign a different value. For example, I could assign them to 0 if I want to, or I could just delete them. Click add, and then I delete them. So let me do this. Let me delete this. Yeah. So now I have this column is clean, 0 to 4. But look, I have 3 columns. I need 2. So this old sentiment I don't need. So now I'm going to delete it. Perfect. Yep. So now I have the file I need. I have titles, I have headers, I have 1 column for the text that I want to apply the sentiment to, and then I have the sentiment that I want to, the sentiment score that starts in 0 and ends in whatever number you want to end. So then finally I will run a job, and that will make the process, that will clean the file. So however, before I do this, I just want to try to make a little bit easier. So what I'm going to do is the number 1, I'm gonna change the name of the file. For example, here say clarity in Twitter example 2. I will call it clean file. It could be any name, right, that you want. Yep. Then the directory where it's gonna be stored, I might want to pick a different directory because this data prep, data staging is kind of difficult to read, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select a different folder in the Google Cloud Storage. That's what GCA means. And then in your case it will be here because it's your homework. In my case, this is here. Yeah. And so we'll call it clarity in Twitter example, and then the file could be clarity in Twitter clean file. So then do not forget this. If you forget to click this option, for whatever reason, you will not have the file with the headers. So make sure that you click update, and you check this option, include headers as first row on creation. That will make sure, that will save the headers. Otherwise, you will not have them, and that will give you an error as well. So I'm gonna click update, and it will take a little bit of time before you get the final, about 5 minutes, and then you will get the final file. Yes, I don't need to do anything else. You need to click run job, and it will run. However, what I'm going to do is that I'm going to show you how the clean file looks like, because I already have it. I did it before, so like a cooking show, right? So this is clarity in Twitter example, and this is the file. See, clean. This is the one I did, and I will just open it so you know how it looks like. right here. You see, you have two different columns, and the new sentiment start from 0 to 4. So now I'm ready. Now I can start the training process. If I don't do this, you will get an error. All right, so what will be the next step? So I will go to the Google Cloud. Now that my file is right, now I go to the AI platform. Let me go here. Natural language. I will select sentiment analysis, of course. This is the file I just did. I did it today, as you can see. What I will do is I will create a new data set, example. We call example video. It could be any name. This is just, as you can see, an example. Then I select sentiment analysis. And remember, this part is also very important. You have to select 4 because that's how the sentiment works from 0 to 4. If you use a different data transformation and it ends in a different number other than 4, this number has to match. Otherwise, you will also get an error. However, you follow this step, you should be good to go. Click create data set. And I'm going to upload the file from storage. So this is the one I did, which is a clean data set. Yep. Oh, sorry. Click select CSV file from cloud storage, and now I select this. This is the clean file I did. So remember to use the file that you just clean, otherwise you will get problems. And I will click import. Click import. So it will take time to work, to process the text items. It could be from few minutes to an hour. So what I did is I have it already. That's what I did beforehand. So this is how the file looks like. I just have to make sure that I have a minimum of 100 items per row. Also, as part of the assignment, make sure that you spend enough time, as much time as you need, making sure that these sentiments are okay. If they're not okay, let me go here again. So right here, for example, is this sentiment okay, or you have to you want to change it? Yeah. For example, let me click here, let me filter. I will select this. If this is not a 0, I can put a proper sentiment. Yeah. Also, make sure that you don't have anything underscore, because then it's not going to use in your training. So this part is perhaps the most time-consuming part, because if this is not good, the training will not be good. So spend as much time as you need with this part. Then finally, I will go to the train, and this is what you will get. So I usually explain what is precision and what is recall. Ideally, you should have more than one of these models. Ideally, yeah. Let's see the full evaluation. So I have a 500 close to 500, 459 test items that I use for test. And these are the results. This will give me an idea of how good the labeling was. So as you can see, the sentiment score 0 is pretty bad in this example. Only 10% of them were labeled correctly. So that's bad. So I'll probably have to go back to the items and either add more items with a sentiment score 0, or to review them just to see why I have not so many. As a matter of fact, this is what's called a confusion matrix. Almost half of the items with sentiment score 0 were predicted as sentiment score 1. So that's bad. So probably have to go back here and either ensure that the labels are correct, or maybe add more more example with zeros and one because it's not good. 0 and 2 is not that bad. 0 and 3 have items with the sentiment score 0 that were predicted as sentiment score 3. That was bad. So I probably have to go back and relabel them or add more examples because it's not working correctly. Also, the sentiment score 4 maybe doesn't have that many items. That's why it's so bad. Yep. Also here, sentiment score 0 and 4 they're really bad in this example. Whereas sentiment score 3 is good. 79% of them were predicted correctly. Sentiment score 2 so-so, only 50%. Sentiment score 5, 53%. So-so, it's not that great. So maybe perhaps the biggest problem with the sentiment score 4 and the sentiment score 0. So what you might have to do is go back and add more examples, or you have to make sure that these are correct, because for some reason the majority of them are being regarded as sentiment score 1. That's what the evaluation does. So finally, assuming that this is correct and you have finished this process, just go into the test and you will start testing it. So that's what the test file in your homework is. So let me go there. These are test phrases that you are going to use. These are test phrases. But remember that I'm working with a different file, so I have different test phrases. This, because my exercise is about clarity and yours is about Amazon. Alright, so I'm going to do this. I'm going to add this and see what the prediction is. So now this look like 1 score to you. Is that good? Is that bad? If not, you probably have to go and try to adjust the training. Not because of one, but you make a test with different items and there is a consistent error, you might want to consider going back and retraining this. Let me see if I have another test phrase. All right, let me see this. This is 1. So you have to see, is it 1 or not? Let me change one word to see how it works. So that's what I'm saying. If this doesn't make sense, you probably have to go back and ensure that the items were labeled correctly. So that's the main part in this homework. So as you can see, I went from all the beginning till the end. This took about 4 hours to complete. So make sure that you allocate enough time, and 4 hours, and I didn't go back and forth. All right. So good luck.